Welcome, everybody, to Manifesting with Meg, Conversations with Extraordinary People. Today is our episode number 118. You get to decide as we get empowered through service in October. I'm so excited to have you all share this time with our extraordinary guest, Andreea Pap. She is the founder of happinessdigger. And what better name to a company than you would want to start digging away at the amazing happiness that we all can have that's waiting for all of us every freaking day if we're ready to decide that we want it, and we all do, I can imagine. So without further ado, I want everybody to get ready to join us on our finishing and the culmination of the year of Empowered Through Purpose. This is about transformation, dreams, inspiration, true happiness, and of course, discovering bliss. You are always just a conversation away from extraordinary. So it's time to wake up to a universe packed with possibility. As I start my show, each time I ask everyone to get intentional, set their intentions along with us. One of my favorite things is the power of awareness around those things that we want. So set our intention. And at the end of the show, I'm going to ask Andreea to pick a number between 3 and 397 so she can share with us the insight from the magical guide to bliss that corresponds with that intention. As you all know, this show was literally bring my magical guide to bliss to life. So sit back, lay back, enjoy, have fun, and get ready to manifest with me and Andreea today, because this is going to be an amazing show with the theme, once again, is you get to decide. But before I go, I just got to introduce you guys to Andreea. How are you today, my friend?
Hey, Meg. I am great. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure. I cannot wait to have this conversation with you. I mean, what a better topic to discuss than you get to decide. I mean, it fits me like a glove.
I
Must be
love it.
some manifesting.
Well,
So.
I don't believe it truly in coincidences. It's everything is a synchronicity as I go through my world. So I'm always trying to pay attention to see what pops up. And certainly you are this wonderful bright light in the happiness sector as well as in life. And certainly let me give everyone a brief intro into who you are. So everybody meet Andreea Pap. She's the positive psychology practitioner and the driving force behind happinessdigger. Today, Andreea is a speaker and organizational well-being facilitator and coach on a mission to create and spread more happiness at work and at home. Drawing on her own extensive corporate experience and her passion for championing others, she now focuses on empowering individuals and maximizing their potential. Using the knowledge and insights in positive psychology, love that, she builds more connected and fun working cultures within organizations, leading to a higher sense of belonging, more productivity, and ultimately happier employers. And even better, we are coming to you once again internationally, as she is in Amsterdam, which I love that this wonderful positive psychology energy of love, happiness, and kindness is finding all of us in different places around the world. So welcome, Andreea. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I am so excited about having this conversation with you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Meg. I mean, I am super excited, and thanks for the kind introduction. And like I truly believe, like magic exists, but only if you believe in it. So
Oh, yeah.
I think we should all do tiny bit more of believing, and of course, now we're gonna talk a lot about getting to decide and acting, which is my
Oh, I love it.
favorite step of
Well,
manifesting.
I mean, you have a company called happinessdigger. I don't know what better words can be of action towards something. And I'm going to leave it up there because our theme today is you get to decide. And the cool thing about you get to decide accompanied with happinessdigger is that you get to decide whether you want to dig happiness or the alternative, which is never necessarily the best choice. But anyway, at that, Matt, I'm going to go ahead and read you, all of you, the season 6 culmination of our October Empowered Through Purpose quote today. You get to decide. And it's by Dr. Stanley Turecki. Nothing happens until you decide. And that is no more appropriate for this conversation. And I'll read a little bit of the insight as well. Now is really the right time to enjoy your journey and live intentionally. Ah, yes, there is fun to be had. There is life to be lived. There is joy to be discovered around each corner. Every moment from this point on is yours to do with what as you like. So decide what it will be. Decide to make this journey your life's greatest achievement. And that is the magical key to bliss. Now back to you. What are your thoughts? Please, enough of me, more of you. Tell us.
Well, like I really like what you just read, because it's kind of, it resonates with me, but it's something that I actually teach people, like literally in every single of my workshop. It's something that I want people to, at least, if there is one thing that they go away with, is that they can decide what they focus their attention on. And I talk about negativity bias and how that impacts our lives. And like, there will always be bad stuff around us, right? It's like we're not living in a utopia. There's always some stuff going on, either personally, in the community, in the world. There's always bad stuff. We can't eliminate it all. But you really have the power to decide what you want to focus your attention on, what you really want to, like, open your mind to, what you want to invite in your life. I mean, it's really something that you can decide on. It's something you can train your brain to do. You can train your attention to do, to really just focus more on the positive. And of course, like, I'm sure some of your listeners have heard the term negativity bias before.
No,
But
I wanted to have you expand on that. What is negativity bias for those who might not have an idea as to what that is?
so it's really our automatic function in our brain to focus on the negative, to really look for risks, look for dangers in order for us to be kept safe and alive. And it obviously comes back, from thousands and thousands of years, where, looking for risks and looking for threats meant that, our life was at risk, right? We needed to make sure that there were no, like lions or whatever around us, and that, our life was not in danger. But unfortunately, our brain, has not evolved, and we continue to look, for risks and for danger as a way to, keep ourselves alive. And safe. But nowadays our risks might be, I don't know, a bad comment from our boss, or someone cutting us off in traffic. But the same things fire up in our brain as if our life is at risk. But obviously we need to make sure we retrain our brain. And I think the beautiful thing about it is that new research has proven that we can change this automatic bias towards the negative, to really focus more on the positive. But it requires practice, it requires work, and it requires you to train your attention to say, okay, this is happening, I'm seeing it, but this is also happening. And of course, then you kind of can really bridge into gratitude, and how that can help you practice and train that muscle of focusing on the positive, and being thankful for what is there, rather than focusing your attention on what's not there.
I want to go back to what you're saying, all the studies that they're telling us nowadays, that you can retrain your brain and you can shift to something more positive and uplifting rather than focusing on that negativity bias that we have. And I also want to remind everybody where you can be found, because I love this as well. I want to put it up there. The Happiness Digger is on Instagram as well, and she has lots of wonderful content, because you did come from a corporate setting before, and now you do a lot of presentations and workshops to others to remind them that happiness is more than a possibility. You just need to decide to shift into that light. Tell me a little bit more about your journey to all of this, like this beautiful colors of yellow and then your beautiful blue and everything.
Well, as with everything, the journey, it's not a straight line. And I think for me, the beauty of life, I mean, I'll just say, when I was a kid, I loved the idea of being an actress. because I thought like, oh my God, if I become an actress, then I could be all of these things. I could be a chef, and I could be a cleaning lady, and I could be a pilot, and I could be this. I could play all of these roles. And that idea of like having different things really fascinated me. And I think I'm carrying that a bit throughout my career as well. So I started a bit over 10 years ago in the corporate world, a bit by mistakes, into a very different industry than what I'm doing today. So I spent about 10 years in the fintech industry, so really on the financial services side, working with IT, working with airlines, more on the sales side and business development side. So if you look back at my career, you'll be like, it has nothing to do. But for me, it kind of all goes back to a bit my strengths and how I live my life. And from the very beginning, when I started my career, my kind of mission, or the way I felt about my job, was always that I was there to help people. Whatever I was doing, I was there to help people. So in my previous role, my objective was always, I'm there to help my customers. They have problems, in this case, technological problems, and I have solutions. So I am there to help them. So I will listen to them, and I will give them, my solutions. So it kind of started, if you look at it, I would say more of a traditional path. But there was something that it was always on my mind, and was the idea of, having studied a lot, having done my degree and the double masters, it kind of bugged me that I never learned a lot about how to manage myself. You learn a lot about how to manage external circumstances, how to give presentations, how to negotiate, whatever, that might be. But you don't really get taught a lot about how to manage the self, how to understand what we discussed before, your brain, to understand what happens in your brain, to understand your emotions, to be able to manage your emotions and to leverage those emotions. And kind of that's how my interest started in positive psychology. So it was purely out of desire to better myself. And as I was digging into it, I realized that it was critical knowledge. And I think during COVID, I kind of had a wake-up call when I realized that the knowledge that I had really helped me go through such a unprecedented time relatively okay. I managed to continue to be in touch with my friends, because I understood, and my family, I understood how important that is for me. And I understood how gratitude can play a role into making myself feeling better despite all of the bad things that were happening in the world. And I started sharing my knowledge, and kind of that's how my company started. I realized, well, this is knowledge that everyone should have. Like, these are tools that everyone should have. And I sometimes joke about how we were during COVID. I really felt that most people were trying to learn how to take care of themselves as COVID was happening, and as everything was happening. And I really think about it as wanting to learn how to change a tire after it explodes on the highway. Like, you can try to watch some videos and you can try to figure it out, but that's not the best moment to learn.
That's great. That's not the best moment. Like, as it, like, you're like, what am I going to do now, right? Oh yeah, for sure.
So I really think people should be equipped with the tools and the knowledge beforehand. And of course, we will all go through hardships, but if you have the right tools, and I think if you have even the knowledge, and if you know that gratitude exists and how powerful it is, or any other tool, I don't want to limit it to gratitude, I just use it because it's the most kind of powerful and I think easy to implement.
I think you're saying that so many times because it's a reminder for me today that I need to be in gratitude. It's so funny because, you know, the whole permission to be human of positive psychology and how we all navigate our worlds. And yesterday I was like, I need to go for a walk because this permission to be human is wreaking anger everywhere. So I was running around like, but I was like, you know, at the same time, I have to be reminded that I'm grateful. Grateful is, or gratitude is such a superpower, I think. And I do want to say, I want to get the origins of the Happiness Digger title because the colors are gorgeous, and I know that you're not necessarily from Amsterdam. You're pretty much this worldwide person. Your friends and family are everywhere, right? I think that as well. But I love how you play, and it feels like there's a lot of gratitude in the digging. But tell us the origins of that wonderful name.
Well, it's the name. I agree, it's wonderful. The origin, maybe not so much, but I'm sure some people would resonate with what I'm going to say. So obviously, I started, as I said, in the corporate world, and I kind of went with the entire, find the job and get the career, and then get the promotions and get this and get that, and I was going up the ladder very eagerly to get to the top. And then I realized, well, that kind of is not it.
Yeah.
After doing it for 10 years, I was like, well, like I have the career, I have the job title, I have, the let's say the comfort that I was hoping for, but yeah, it's kind of not it. And I think I never missed, let's say, I don't have any regrets about not living my life, or pouring myself into my career, which I did. But I think I managed to keep a balance that was okay for me. But at the end, I realized, after all of this hard, studying and working and doing some sacrifices along the way, nobody really talked to me about happiness, about really having it as a goal in your life. It's the typical thing that we are kind of are tricked into, when you will get this, then you'll be happy, and when you'll have that, then you'll be happy, or when you'll, I don't know, it can be anything, lose weight, get a house, get a dog, or get a car, it can be whatever, then you'll be happy. But nobody really talked about happiness in itself, like how can you. And I realized that it's something that it's kind of within you. And you really have to do some work to get it out there, and to really make sure that happiness, it's not really a consequence of getting other things, because at the end of the day, that will only get you into this treadmill where you're like constantly needing new things in order to feel some happiness. But rather than happiness is on the small simple things. But it is something that you kind of have to uncover. And I think it's maybe because at some point, like, you kind of get it a bit buried. Like if I look back at kids, their life is full of joy and happiness, and they get happiness from the smallest things, from the a new piece of plastic that they get from something that you had wrapped a present.
They bought a big Barbie studio with the kids playing in the box. It's like, it's that. It's just like, what's happening here? But I get you. I hear exactly what you're saying. Absolutely.
So that's kind of how it originated. I really felt like it is something that we know. We know that happiness is in the small things. We've been there. We just need to kind of dig it back out. And it was also a bit of a kind of I was thinking, lots of people are kind of thinking of money, buying happiness, and this like gold digging. And
I love it.
Dig for happiness, not for gold. Money will come. And I think now, now that I know all of the studies and all of the research, I can really say that happy employees are more successful. They make more money. It really kind of is the other way around. So now I really can actually prove that this formula is broken. It's not success first, happiness second. It's really the other way around. Happiness first and then
I
success
love
second.
that you're like saying is happiness is the gold. It is the gold. It's so interesting that it's not literally on the priorities of why is it down at the end? We should put it like dig it out and bring it to the top, because honestly that is a game changer when you start there. And one of the things I really do love about this show is that I get to tap into your inspirations. And of course, we have these beautiful memes and photos with those on it. So let's start here. And you are wonderfully pointing out this wonderful first quote, and tell me what it means to you. Be the change you want to see in the world.
It is really the reason why I changed careers and why I left what I was doing before, which I still love. It was a career that I love, but I really wanted a change. I really saw that it's not okay to have so much disengagement and unhappiness in the workplace and stress. And I was like, no, this is not okay. We should all be happy at work. I really think, overall, if you look at the jobs that I would say we have on the West, they are all good jobs. Like you do interesting things. Like the job that I had was great, but still like something is broken. And I was like, okay, something is broken. I can either stay and kind of go through it, or I can do something and I can really try to change it, and I can really try to impact it in a positive way. And I thought like, okay, I can't wait for someone else to come and fix the thing. I can be actually part of the fixing. I can really do something to make things better. So for me, it's this quote is really what made me decide, okay, I do want to to be that change, and I want to try to make things better in my own way, bringing my experience and my knowledge to the table, and really make employees a little bit happier.
Like they say 5 or 10% or 5%. But when you talk about you get to decide, like literally being the change is where you start. And then you followed with this beautiful one by Dr. Tal Ben-Shahar. Life is too short to do only what we have to do. It is barely long enough to do what we want to do. Right? I love this. Tell me what it means to you. I love this.
I love it. I mean, I couldn't have said it better. And I think we sometimes get so like busy with all of the things that we have to do or we should do, that we don't do the things that we want to do, the things that make us happy. And again, you can't be happy if you tell yourself, every morning, like, oh my God, I should do this, I should do that, or I have to do this, I have to do that. It really feels like you're a bit, in a prison, and someone dictates your life, which of course, I mean, we know we love control as human beings. So saying to yourself that you have to do this and you should do this really feels like, giving the control away, and someone having, the power over you, telling you what to do and what you shouldn't do. So for me, this is like the beautiful example of you have to do what you want to do. Of course, again, like, it's not all black and white, but you have to prioritize, what do you want to do. Okay, we all have to do things that maybe we don't necessarily enjoy. And if you're in a corporate job, I don't know, you have to do a lot of admin which everyone hates, but you have to do it as part of the job. But don't focus your attention there. Focus on what you want to do. Put some of those things in your in your day-to-day life. Put the things that you want to do. You want to go for a walk, then make time to go for a walk. You want to, I don't know, read, make the time, even if it's during your coffee, reading 2 pages. That's enough. Just do what you want to do. And I think it's just this one simple key to happiness. Just make sure you do the things that you want to do, even if you have still things that you have to do or that you need to do. Those will always be there. But if you only do those, that's a way to be tremendously unhappy.
Well, I went back to you. You not only, like you were saying, that if you love to read, read 2 pages, but you not only went a step above, you started a happiness reading club. And so now you have a community that holds you accountable to that thing that you want to do. And it's more joyful when you get to share it with other people, which I think is fantastic. That is what you've gotten to decide, and what you've been a leader, in fact, as to how you're digging out the happiness with others through the written word. And then on to, oh my goodness, I love this. It is a Tanzania proverb: little by little, a little becomes a lot. And I do love the small changes. I like small changes. And the reality is that you can't really beat yourself up where you are, but start little by little each day, and then that'll shift you into something really powerful. Thank you for sharing this. And the visual is absolutely stunning. This gorgeous sunrise or sunset. I'm not sure, but you get to make out that determination based on how you see it. But it's beautiful.
It is a sunset. Because actually, I do have to say, all of the pictures are actually pictures that I took, because I love sunsets.
Oh my God, that's fantastic. So you guys, look at this. Go back and look at the other ones as well. This is stunning. Oh my God, that's stunning. So tell me what this means to you.
To be honest, I think this is one of my guiding principles since I was very young. I even can't even remember since when I'm using this to kind of get myself through things, and get myself to things.
Yeah, I love that.
And I really think sometimes some things can be quite scary, right? Overall big changes, and unfortunately, yeah, we all have to go through changes, and sometimes they are hard to kind of go through, and sometimes are positive changes that you're kind of looking forward, but change in itself, it's something that it's hard. Even if it's positive, it's still hard. So I kind of use this to to get myself to do just a little. And it's the same, what I said with the 2 pages. When so I love to read. Yeah. Of course, that's why I also have the book club.
It's awesome.
But sometimes it's hard for me to read. Sometimes I have so much work, I can't get the time to read, or I don't have the mind, the space to read. Or I simply just feel like doing something else. I'm like, reading is going to take again some more mental energy, and I have none. But I love to read, and it actually makes me happy. So sometimes I tell myself, okay, when I have busy periods, I'm like, okay, the goal is to read 1 page a day. That's all. I just have to do a little, which is 1 page. I can read 1 page. It takes me 2 minutes. I definitely have the time. And more often than not, actually I read more than 1 page. It's very rare that I'm like, okay, 1 page, and I put the book away. It's hard to start. And once I do, I'm like, okay, no, I'm going to finish this chapter, or I'm going to finish, this until here, I'm going to. So I think when we give ourselves kind of this kind of permission to just do a little, and kind of not set the expectations, really high. I'm not gonna say, I'm gonna just this month I'm gonna read this book. If you're already having a lot on your plate, etc., thinking of reading 1 full book can be really a lot. But if you say, no, I'm gonna read a page a day and see how it goes, and even if you just read 1 page a day, you will have advanced the book. So I think it's in life in general. If you look at things and you really break them down, and it really can be applied to everything, whatever task you have to do, a project, a change in the house, whatever that might be. If you look at it and you break it down and you do little by little, 1 step at a time, it really can help you, push yourself forward and really be like, okay, I've done this one, I've accomplished it, it feels great. On top of that, do a little step, you feel great, and you kind of feel motivated and feel ready to do, the next step. And I think that's where lots of people actually get stuck, like, for example, you have a great idea, but then it feels like really daunting. Oh my God, I don't know, when I started the company, I was like, oh my God, I have to do a website, and I have to do this, I have to register the company, and it can feel really daunting. And I think lots of people have this feeling of overwhelm, in the face of something. But then if you break it down, then you'll be like, okay, well, this month I'm going to focus on, the website, and next month I'm going to focus on the paperwork, and then next month I'm going to focus on something else. At the end of 3 months, I kind of had everything that I wanted to, but at the start felt like, oh my God, this is going to take me years.
Yeah, no, I love that wonderful quote, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. And I feel like this is what this speaks to as well. And of course, then we round it up with your inspirations for us. Oh, this is great. What you do every day matters more than you do once in a while. Gretchen Rubin. And I love her. I think she has that wonderful book about happiness. The bottom line, consistency, and that can be daunting, overwhelming, but at the same time, I think resonating with certain things will allow you to continue or be more consistent. Tell us, I think that you're a fantastic person with regard to consistency, because like I said, back to the happiness book club, you are very on top of it, consistent. You can count on you. We can count on you. And you're a person who can be trusted to hold your end. And that's a really beautiful thing when it comes down to it, because with a little bit of flexibility. But tell me your perspective on this as well. And especially in light with your happinessdigger company that you have.
So this is me coming at it from two angles. First of all, letting go a bit of perfectionism and, trying to be perfect. I think, it doesn't have to always be perfect. And I love to use, and I use it sometimes in my workshops, this like 80-20 rule. And I use it in a different way, and I put like a happiness spin on it. And I tell people, like, if 80% of the time you do the things, you go out on a walk, you meditate, you do a gratitude practice, you spend time with your friends, whatever that might be, that's enough. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't mean that you're not allowed to have negative feelings, or to have negative thoughts, or to feel, I don't know, that you want to be alone, and you just want to be in your bubble. It's okay. And for me, this was very important, because I did struggle at some point with wanting things to be perfect, and it can be very paralyzing when you think it's not perfect, so therefore it's not ready, so you need more time, and then you kind of again get overwhelmed. And for me, this was the idea that it matters more what I do most of the time, rather than what I do once in a while. It comes a bit, I think, also from sports, that it matters more that you train every day, that you eat more or less well every day. And then if in the weekend, you're enjoying your life, and you're having pizza and ice cream, and you're not doing a lot of exercise, that's fine. It's not like you're going to ruin all of the work that you've done during the week. So it helped me to let go, I guess, of perfectionism, and really realize that what I do in my everyday life, this consistency that you were talking about, the discipline matters more than what I do once in a while, which is maybe not do something very well, maybe not show up as my best self, maybe my work, not being the best that it could have been. I know that most of the times, I put out great work, but it's not always the case. Lots of things happens with us, and I think that's also a funny thing that I realized with time. everyone, it's so complex and there is so much going on. And even the people that you think you know, and the people that you talk to every day, and you ask them how are you, how are things, not necessarily will share the certain parts of their lives. And it's only when something like drastic happens and something like really big, that you realize, like, oh my god, I had no idea that this was going on in your life. And then you kind of go back and you assess kind of, well, what happened at the time, and you kind of start to understand. And it happened to me as well. I went through something a couple of years ago, and it was my personal decision to not share at work, because it was just a bit too hard for me to talk about it. Even now, as I'm thinking about it, it's becoming a bit hard. But I decided, okay, I don't want to share it at work because it's just very hard. I don't want everyone to come to me and ask me how I'm doing. And so I just shared with the closest people, with my team and my manager. And I was like, I would really appreciate if, we just keep this for ourselves. But at the end, I had an interaction with someone, unfortunately, that, from outside the team. And it was, well, I was not, my best self. But obviously this person couldn't understand. And it was only months later when we had a conversation about what happened at the time that, kind of we could have an open and candid conversation about, the let's say work relationship we had, and how that was impacted. And it was obviously my fault to, well, first, to not have taken the time off, but second, to not have been open and honest, and really put that on the table and say, sorry, I'm not my best self, I'm going through something. But I wanted to kind of try to live it at home, and really focus on work. And I think it's very important to just have that acknowledgement, and I think that's where kindness, it's important to just treat everyone with kindness. Just be kind, even if they are not kind to you, or if they are not kind back. Most of the times it has nothing to do with you. It's really to do with them. They might be going through something might have happened that day or that month. And I have so many examples of even people around me that are going through divorces and some health issues, etc. You never know. You see this person outside, and maybe they are not very kind, or maybe they are rushed, or maybe I don't know, they cut you off, whatever that might be. And you tend to react to that as if it's something to do with you. But I think the world could be such a kind place if we just respond with kindness, no matter what.
Love that. It goes back to the concept of, be kind, because you never know what someone's going through, and you don't know what's happening. You just see them come. I laugh because we were at the outset of the conversation, we were talking about understanding the room, like, the whole idea of, the fight or flight, and we don't have bears coming out of us, or maybe sometimes now I've seen it on social memes, but at Disney World, there was a bear hanging out with what Country Bears Germany, or like, I don't know, Space Mountain. But like, reality is that we don't have that actually happening. But what we pay attention to the energy in the room. And sometimes at least when I walk into a room, if I feel like some negative energy coming at me, I'm like running the other direction, because it's like, no, I don't need this today. But back to your point with regard to being kind, but I can do that without like literally engaging. I can be as kind as possible, not knowing what that person is going through, which takes us back to the beauty of manifesting, and really why I do this show. And it's really kind of like tapping into the magic of you, Andrea, because you are a very magical person. You emote, you emit all this beautiful light and love and kindness and all that you do. I think that the most interesting thing is, especially since, congratulations on your new engagement. You have a beautiful, like, it was beautiful. We were able to celebrate you and all of these things that you have manifested into your life. Tell me one thing, and that we can share with the audience today, one thing so far that you realized is a really powerful tool that moves you forward in your journey, that helps you manifest.
To be honest, I think it's believing in myself,
I love that.
and being able to realize that, I have what it takes, and whatever I don't have, I can get. I mean, if I don't have, the knowledge, I can get it. If I don't have a tool, I can get it. But just like understanding that there is power, and it's something that we can harness. We all have strengths. We all have things that we can rely on in our lives to push us forward. So believing in those things, believing in the strengths that you have, believing in yourself, it's something that has helped me, I guess, even in the hardest of my times, either in corporate or now with my business, to really move forward, to know that, I can do this, and again, letting a bit go of this perfection, to say, it might not be perfect, but I can do this. And, first time around might not be perfect, second time around might not be perfect, but at some point I'll be like, well, this is good enough.
Yeah, I laugh because I always, like, if I step back and I see this glorious masterpiece that is at my life, at the end of my days, and I just like, look, I did that, and it's all this wonderful surprise. I'm like, oh my God. And do you remember that when I did that and I fell on my face? Add that to the list. But it makes this great tapestry that is your life, that only you, Andreea, could bring to the world, which is such a beautiful, incredible gift. And with that, I turn back to, what was your intention today? Because ultimately our intentions, what we bring to this world, is the gift we get to choose to bring to this world. So what was your intention today?
I will keep the same intention that I said. It's my intention to be brave.
Oh, I love it.
And I think it has to do with the fact that, so I do consider myself to be a brave person. I think I go outside of my comfort zone very, very many times. I really go out of my comfort zone, but being an entrepreneur and really starting this new business, and really doing what I set to do, which is to empower individuals, takes a lot of courage. Of course, takes a lot of vulnerability. There are lots of things happening in the background, for everything that I do. So yeah, my intention for this year is to be brave and push forward, and get myself out of the comfort zone, and not be afraid to fail, and not be afraid to do things not perfect. Just be brave.
I laugh because we all, like, hold this standard, not to fail. But if people look at you, you're like, she thinks she's failing. It's like, oh my God, you're failing wildly, wonderfully. It's like, wow, this incredible, fantastic display. And everyone else like, that, okay, whatever. But yeah, what you're doing and what you're bringing to the world is so purposeful and so meaningful and so important, that amen to your wonderful failures, because they brought you here and they keep you going with this belief in self and this wonderful knowing that you're brave, and that, we have such limited time here. What are you waiting for, really, right? To get to decide. So what number did you pick in the magical guide that would correspond to the Be Brave?
I have to stick with 7, which is tomorrow, which is my birthday.
Oh my God. So let's go to October 7th. Oh my gosh, that is so wonderful. So we get to celebrate you. And I have to say this, birthdays are wonderful, because really it's a big thank you to the heavens that you got to be in this world to bless all of us, that we get to cross paths in a synchronistic way, and all the magic that you bring. So October 7th is what we're going to look at. And of course, it is Plant Seeds of Kindness. So go ahead, read what resonates with you from that point. It's Plant Seeds of Kindness on page 307. It's your birthday.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. Well, I'll start with the magical key because I think this really resonates. It says, plant the seeds of kindness and let that expression of love be your reward. And I think it's, what I was mentioning before, even just be kind, even if you don't receive kindness back, or if you're not given kindness, just plant those seeds, just give kindness, because it can really turn someone's day around, it can turn a conversation around, you can really make a difference. And if anything, if nothing happens, you will walk away and you have put a seed of kindness, and you can move on.
I love it. So is there a part in there that resonates with you specifically as my gift to you on your birthday? I feel like I get to give something to you on your birthday.
Well, let's it's in the middle. It says, we'll live our life day by day, doing our best, reaching out to assist others, and acting out of a kind and generous heart. If we act purely because we intend to receive in kind, we will be disappointed when our expectations are not immediately met. However, when we plant the seeds of kindness in all that we do, we might never know the true impact that we can have on the life of another.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, I think it's perfect on your birthday, that fact that you are literally a beam of kindness and light for the world that we all get to receive. And I know that you've impacted my life in this short time that we've really gotten to know each other. So I want to be in gratitude and thank you for all that you're doing. So one of the things I want to make sure that I get out there is, how can people find you and the wonderful Happiness Digger world?
Well, people can find me on my website, which is happinessdigger.com. I put most of my content out on Instagram, and that's also Happiness Digger, or they can just connect with me on LinkedIn. They can either find my company, but even easier, most of my content, I put it through my own personal page. So just connect with me. My name is Andreea Pap, double E. So if you don't find me at first, just put this extra E in my name, and you'll find me right away. And you have there also my my email. Feel free to contact me by email. It's just andrea@happinessdigger.com. So various ways, whatever it's your preferred way, just get in touch. And I'm always keen to talk to as many people as possible, try to spread the happiness across the world.
And I will say her webpage is absolutely beautiful, and you do feel happier having gone to visit it. And I want to make sure everyone knows, on the podcast world, Andrea is ANDREEA at happiness, HAPPINESS digger, DIGGER.com, COM. That's her email address. Reach out to her if you have, check out the website first. It's such great tools that any kind of corporation could use to implement or raise the level of happiness for their employees. And I definitely encourage you all to go do that. And once again, her wonderful company, Happiness Digger, just go out, check it out. You're going to love it for sure. I know that, just talking to you these last few times and having met you through our own Happiness Studies Academy and all of these wonderful things, I'm a big fan. And I know that, at the end of the end of all of our days, if we can look back and say that we were the change that we wish to see in the world, like we started with Gandhi, then we've done our best, met our purpose, and we are literally here to shine even brighter and happier and more loving and more kindness. So my last ask for Andrea today is obviously, what inspiration will you have all of us going out into the world to share with others?
I have to say, be kind. I think we don't have enough kindness. We need more. There is so much going on in the world. Be kind and be brave.
Oh my God, I love it. So everyone, go be kind, be brave, Go dig some happiness with happiness digger Andreea Pap. I would love for all of you to get to know her better. Certainly, she is, like I said, a bright, bright light in this world. And I'm glad that you decided to jump out into the world of happiness so that I could get to meet you. And then so many more people will benefit from the beauty that you bring to any stage for that matter. I want to remind everybody to go look up her Happiness Digger. And the show based on Magical Guide to Bliss has brought me here on this wonderful journey. I want you to all remember to be deliberate creators of your life. Dream big, get inspired, and get ready to manifest the life of your dream. Wishing you bliss. Be brave, be bold, and of course, be kind. Tomorrow, especially, do an act of kindness in honor of Andrea. It's her birthday, so we all will go out there. And just one thing like that is the gift that we all could give on and on and on and on and on. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you so much, Andrea. I so loved this so much.
Thank you, Meg. Thanks for having me. Thanks for creating this space, not only for me, but for all of the people, to listen in, to tune in, for all of the wonderful speakers that you bring on, and all of these conversations that you bring together. Thank you so much.
And thank you for your extraordinariness. It's been a pleasure. And be well, everyone. Blessings and bliss.